Well, I've been saying that the rock of offense is Israel. It's a rock of offense to the nations. And God is using Israel as a determining factor. I'll bless those who bless you, curse those who curse you. Of course, behind Israel is Abraham. Behind Abraham is Yahweh. And this is about the recognition of God as creator, the sovereignty of God. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, his right to determine direction for nations. And so this is bigger than a geopolitical skirmish over a little piece of land called the Gaza Strip or the Golden Heights or anywhere else. This is about the eschatological calendar and the ultimate push of the nations that will line up against God and say, you have no right to the earth. You know, under Jordanian rule, sadly, when Palestine was petitioned, and the Arabs were given a certain section of the land, particularly east of the Jordan River, but reaching into East Jerusalem, under Jordanian rule, all the Jewish Holy Land sites were constantly desecrated, and the Jews were denied access to those holy sites. Under Jewish rule, believe it or not, Muslim holy sites have been respected. Even the Mount, even the Temple Mount. The Temple Mount, the most holy place of the Jews, and Christian sites have been respected, and the right of Muslims to go to holy sites and Christians to go to holy sites, both have access. But the nations of the world consistently line up against Israel. Of 175 UN security resolutions passed before 1990, 175, 97 were against Israel. Now think about all the other nations of the world that need to be sanctioned. Think about the misbehavior of the nations in the last century. So the most misbehaving nation is Israel, that has only existed for less than 40 years during that entire period. This is bias. This is the nations cursing Israel. Of 690 UN General Assembly resolutions, 690, 429 have been against Israel. From 2015 to 2022, there have been 140 resolutions against Israel and only 68 against all of the other nations on the face of the earth combined. And so here are the nations lining up against Israel. And this is the rock of offense for all nations. Where do you stand with regard to Israel? Where do you stand? And on that rock of offense, wherever you stand, is the line of the blessing of God upon your nation or my nation, or the disdain of God upon that nation. The nations of the world are now being called into the courtroom of God. You see, witness is not an evangelistic term, it's a judicial term. And they must give witness. Where do they stand with regard to Israel? And that will determine blessing or the disdain of God. I'm going to talk to you next time about what has happened in America when we have forced Israel to give land for peace. The land isn't Israel's. They can't give it away. They don't own it. God owns the land. And I'll show you his fingerprints in the land. We'll be back. And we're talking and praying about the peace of Jerusalem and for a spiritual awakening in Israel.
Take a walk, a prayer walk through the Old Testament tabernacle with Doug Small. You will learn, and then you will pray. You will enter the gate with thanksgiving, stop at the altar, and apply the blood of the crucified Lamb to your heart. Examine and wash yourselves at the laver, and then enter the holy place. The table of showbread represents Christ, the bread of life broken for us. The golden lampstand, fruit, and fire represents the ministry of the Holy Spirit in our lives. At the golden altar, you'll discover that the sweetness of our lives is to be offered to God in worship. And then you'll go into the most holy place and put yourself into the Ark of the Covenant. The blood, the water, the bread, the oil, the incense, and the glory. This will change forever the way you pray. Join Doug Small for the Praying Through the Tabernacle School of Prayer, coming to your area soon.